What's up, guys? This is Marc Mendez, real estate coach here. Filming another episode of Everyday People. This will be episode 4. Not that I'm not excited to have any other guests on, but this one, man, I'm pretty stoked to have on Mr. Brandon Elam, Mr. No Slack himself. Um, so yeah, let's without further ado, let's get Mr. No Slack on the phone himself. He's currently in Hawaii. Master Sergeant Brandon Elam. Um, he sent me his title. I'm gonna have him explain it because I'm not a military guy. So even though my family's military, I don't know how to read these ops. SGN 524. Yeah. So let's give what we used to call him as B White. That's a real nickname. That's real.
What's up, brother?
What's going on, Mr. No Slack?
Hey, what's going on?
Well, we are recording, we're filming. So man, I'm super excited to have you on this. This has been the one right here I've been waiting for a long time. How you doing?
Well, first I would tell you, man, I really appreciate you just thinking of me and having me on. It's an honor. I watch all the episodes. I think you guys are doing amazing, and like I said, it's an honor and privilege that you even asked me to be on there.
Oh man, the privilege is mine. The privilege is mine. So what's going on? You're in Hawaii right now, huh?
Yeah, that's right. I'm in Hawaii, Honolulu, Hawaii, right now in 25 ID. I serve as the Ops Sergeant Major here in 25 Sustainment Brigade here in Hawaii, in
So
Paradise.
in paradise. Where you were recently, you just got to Hawaii, right? You were previously where at?
Yeah, recently I just moved here. I've been here about 4 or 5 months. I was in Korea. So I spent a year on a hardship tour down in Korea, in South Daegu, Korea.
First and foremost, man, thank you for your service. You know, we thank you all for the sacrifice that you guys make every single day, every single year to provide us the freedom. You know, a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, so you know that definitely needs to be stated. Um, so tell me,
Well,
man.
I appreciate that, but you know what I like to say, man? I'm not to interrupt you or cut you off, but
Nah,
I
go
like to
ahead.
say
This
is,
is your show. This is your
people,
show.
no. Everybody always says, thank you to me, but I will tell you right now, I would say thank you to everyone else, and I would take you to your father, your brother, and all the other people who served before me, and also we cannot serve. No service member can serve without their family and support group.
Absolutely.
There's just no way. So I think when everyone says thank you to me, I do appreciate it, but I would like to say thank you. First, it's an honor to serve. I always tell the soldiers every day, I don't get to serve. I don't have to serve. I get to serve, and
Yeah.
and it's lucky that we've been allowed to serve this great country. And I never forget that. Never forget everybody's come before us. So I thank you for thanking me for my service. But again, I like to thank everybody out there and yourself and everybody who knows me and everybody who supports me. I like to thank them too.
Oh man, I definitely support you. You one of the people that's always supported me, man. No matter what, you know, we grew up together with the Abdul Jamis and playing a lot of basketball, playing a lot of street football, tackle football, all that good stuff. So, Mr. No Slack himself, first and foremost, man, give the people a definition of what exactly no slack means to you and how
Well,
you came
I'm
up with
gonna tell
that.
you what I would like to tell you where it originated from. So what's funny thing is where it originated from is I was working at elementary school, Mary Hall Elementary, and I felt like I love Texas, I love San Antonio, but I felt like I just needed to do more. I feel like I could affect more people, help more people, and just do more in life. When I joined the military, I didn't even tell anybody. I basically just showed up, and the day I left, that's when I told everybody I left. And it was funny because my brother tells the story like it's yesterday. He says that we were playing Madden or Tecmo Bowl, whatever we were playing. And he paused the game, and I said, I'll be back. And it's been almost 20 years, and I ain't been back. But when I went to basic training, I was 24 years old. I knew that this was, I'm not going to say my last chance to be great, but I felt like it was my last chance to really affect the world and do great things. That's where I felt. So I was hungry, motivated, starving in basic training. It was hard. Back then it was a little different, but it was hard. But I remember the drill sergeant. He was like, "Come here, Elam." And he couldn't really say my name right, man. He was like, just calling me
Elam.
all types of names. He didn't know what to say. So he said, "You know what? Come here." I said, "Roger, drill sergeant." He got in my face. Said, "You're no longer Elam. I don't want to hear you say Elam." I said, "Roger, that drill sergeant." He said, "Your name is No Slack." And I just looked at him and said, "Roger, drill sergeant." He said, "You know why?" I said, "Because you said so, drill sergeant." He said, "No, because you have now." I said, "Roger, drill sergeant." He said, "Everything you do in life, and everything I've seen you do. He said, when you go to when I see you do PT, you have no slack. When I see you eat chow, you have your heart. Remember back in Abu Dhabi house, we used to eat over there. You have to put your elbows up, because if you didn't put your elbows up, somebody would take your food. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, absolutely. So when I used to eat like that in basic, they would laugh at me and they'd be like, "What is wrong with this guy?" So the drill sergeant was just like, "Man, everything I've seen you do, you have no slack." So I was like, you know what? That is my mantra, and that's what I've been looking for. So I say no slack is more like a movement, right? It's something. It's a motivation, a movement. What we do, it's not mine. It's everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, they call me no slack because I have none, but I do that to keep the motivation, right? Everybody needs it. When you tell somebody, it's funny. The easiest thing, we go to Diamond Head. So there's a mountain here called Diamond Head. And you're walking down this Diamond Head, and it's brutal, man. The march is brutal. And on the way down, these people come here. Tourists come here to do Diamond Head. And they're looking like, man, this is the worst day of their life. You know what I tell them? I tell them, good morning and welcome, brother. And their face lights up. That's what I feel about no slack. I feel like, know what you're going through. If I yell no slack at you, you see me moving and shaking, you're going to do the same thing. And that's kind of what no slack is. And no slack is everything you do, from family to school to love to everything you do. I'm going to give you no slack.
Man, I love that, man, because, you know, there's times where I get down and you hit me with the no slack, and I feel like, man, I'm slacking. Like, you can't tell me that, but, you know, you've been really great at telling me, man, okay, you may have fallen off on the gym, but you're doing all these other things, and I think it's great that you say that it's every aspect of your life, if you can approach it with that no slack mentality. And I tell you, man, every time I see that, Seth posted, you posted, like, it really gets me to, like, man, what can I do better today? What can I do better? And so I love that, man. What is some of the things that have created this leadership, the leader in you that allows you to now train soldiers and impart that leadership to them?
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to say failure. I'm going to say failure. I'm going to say things we went through in our life and things me and you probably went through together. I think the biggest thing that the reason, and there's a couple of things, but first thing is failure. You don't understand that the failure is really not to discourage you or to kill you or demotivate you. It's actually to teach you, train you, and to make you better. But we don't know that, right? Because we're young and dumb, right? Like that song the kids love, young, dumb, and broke, right? That's really what it is. All the mistakes I made, the things I didn't do, things I wanted to do, you know, no mistaken. I love football and basketball, but I just wasn't the greatest player. Let's just be honest. My hard work was more than my talent, and that's okay, right? That is okay. But it took me a long time to understand that. But I would tell you, the best thing about learning leadership and growing is just the experiences you go through and things you can share and relating to others, right? Because I tell you, there's soldiers nowadays that think about this. I've been in the Army 20 years. There's soldiers that are the same age as my daughter, who's 18, or young kids, and they haven't been through the same things we've been through. Right. So you have to relate to them. But the reason why we can relate is because no matter how old you are, everybody goes through something, right? Everybody has failure in life and goes through things. So I would tell you, leadership for you and me. I mean, there's a book, right? And I was going to mention, I was thinking about what I was going to say when you talked to me, and I read this book probably 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. I was a first sergeant, and it reminded me of you, and I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. But I read this book. It's funny because I was watching the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody who knows me, I'm a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan. My dad was born in Pittsburgh. You know that. I'm a huge Steelers fan. So I'm watching this game, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I was at a point in my life where I was a first sergeant. What's next for me? Mm-hmm. When I take this diamond off and I'm not in charge of a formation, who am I? And I was going through that struggle with myself. And God works in mysterious ways and has ways of doing things. So my wife was like, hey, I need you to read this book that someone sent me. And I'm like, man, I'm just trying to watch this game, man. I'm not trying to read no book right now. She said, well, let me ask you a question. I said, okay, what's the question? She said, are you a carrot? Are you an egg? Are you a coffee bean? And I'm like, I'm an egg. She's like, why? I said, because I'm hard. She's like, you stupid. I was like, yeah, I am. You're right. Anyway, so I got this book, and I'm going to just go, and I was reading this book, and in the book, it was talking about this football player. It reminded me of you because you are an amazing football player, very talented, strong, hardworking, epitome of what you want on a team. And he had some injuries, and those injuries didn't let you get to where you got to. But those injuries taught you and made you the man you are today, right? Because you had to go through that stuff. But in this book, so what it relates to the carrot, the egg. First of all, let me ask you, what do you want to be? The carrot, the egg, or the coffee bean? What would you like to be?
Carrot, egg, or the coffee bean?
Yep. What you want to be?
Man, this is a random guess, but I would have probably said the egg also because hard on the outside, kind of soft and mushy
Yeah.
on the inside.
Yeah. So yeah, and that, you know what's crazy? I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
But let me give you the analogy. So life is three pots of water, right? Your love life, your career, your family, three boiling pots. I'm on this water is hot, super hot.
Okay.
So what happens when you throw the carrot in the water?
It softens.
It gets soft, and that's what happens to you in life. When bad things happen to you, death, struggles, failure, you become a carrot. You want to be mushy and give up, right?
Yeah.
What happens when you throw that egg in the water?
It hardens on the outside.
It hardens on the outside, but guess what? The yellow gets it gets bitter, and life
Mm.
can do that to us. Life can make us bitter because we feel like, oh, I deserve this, or I should be this, or I should have that, or I should get this job, or I should have this money. Right? Because we get bitter and we're angry, and instead of fixing ourselves, guess what we do? We blame somebody else,
Yeah.
right? But then what happens when you put the coffee bean in the water?
That one I would not know. I've never seen a coffee bean in
Okay.
hot water. I'm gonna say
Well, you know what's
it
crazy?
dissolves.
No, actually it doesn't, and that's what's great about it. And I use this with my students in any leadership seminars I do. I do this in front of them, right?
Hmm.
And I challenge you to do that with your kids and show them this kids you're trying to teach. I love that group you had with the teaching them about being young men.
Yeah.
But back to the coffee bean. So when you throw that coffee bean in the water, guess what? It changes the water. Guess what happens to the water?
It changes color.
It changes color. But guess what happens to the bean? It never changes. The bean does not change. And the analogy for life and what we got to be is the coffee bean. No matter what situation, no matter what they put us in, we do not let the water change us. We change the water. The water will change to us. We keep our shape. We keep who we are, those morals, those values, all that stuff that we learned from our parents and what we learned in the streets and the sewers and everything we've learned in our life. We stay our person. So we stay the coffee bean. So it's funny because they call me the coffee bean. Because I tell the story all the time. Every time I do leadership conference or I do something, I tell the story. But I think it just relates to life, man. Because we can get bitter, man. We can get soft and just want to give up, right?
Yeah.
And then also we can get bitter and be angry and be like, oh, they owe us this, and why did I get this job? But if you're the coffee bean, bro, no matter what someone tries to do, no matter what life brings us, we will change life.
Mm.
So that is something that I carry with myself, and I think you've always been a coffee bean, Mark. Always. We just didn't know we were coffee beans.
Absolutely.
No matter what they threw at us, no matter what you've been through. I mean, so I would tell you that coffee bean story just really relates to me and relates to life very well, and I think we've been doing it. I feel like leadership is not what you say, but mostly what you do. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like the wise soldiers want to follow me or do follow me or are privileged to follow me is not because they have to. I don't want them to follow me because they have to. I don't want them to do what I tell them to do because they have to, which they do, but I don't want them. What I want them to do is to do it because they want to, not because they have to. Because
Absolutely.
if I inspire them. So in Army leadership, right, there's a definition, and I love this definition. It says you're supposed to give people three things to accomplish two things. And in that definition, it says you will give everyone you meet or everyone you work with direction, purpose, and motivation to accomplish the mission and further develop the unit. Man, that's everyday life. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
Accomplish
man.
your mission, but also develop the world. I know I can talk forever, man, so I
No,
apologize.
no,
But
no, no,
um,
man. This is good. This is so good. I want you to keep
but
going. I know
but
you
that
talked
that
about writing a book, man, on leadership. Tell me a little bit about that.
yeah. So right now it's in the works. I got about I'm working on it now. I'm almost done. It's called 86 Years of Leadership, and I'm going to tell you why I say 86. Because when I say 86, I tell soldiers I'm 86, and they're like, "No, you're not." You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say that, one, I say that because 48 Laws of Power, right?
Hmm.
It's a great book. If you haven't read it, please grab it. It's a great book, 48 Laws of Power. But basically, what I want to do is you got to relate to people. So when I say 86 years of service or 86 years of leadership lessons, they're like, "What are you talking about, bro? You're like 40 or 50." They're right. I am 40, 50. But the point is, I got their attention. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
I got their
absolutely.
attention. So in my leadership book that I'm writing right now, which should be hopefully be out soon, maybe by Christmas or late summer, just basically what I've been through in life, leadership lessons, failures, accomplishments, things I've seen. I mean, I've done 4 Iraq tours, 2 Afghanistan tours. I've been to Bosnia, Kosovo, Turkey, Iran. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I would tell you that there were times when I was going to Iraq that I accepted that I was going to die on the battlefield, and I was okay with that. I felt like that was going to be my legacy to die on the battlefield. They were not easy. It was not easy, and I accepted that. And I'm not saying it's right, and that's a demon that I dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
But I would tell you that that's what I thought my legacy was going to be, to dying in combat, and when I was okay with that. So going through all of that, I just want to share those stories and those the things I've been through. You know, marriage, failures, everything that you go through. To share my leadership lessons and my insight. And it might relate to everybody, it might not, but I guarantee that if you read whatever I write, one, you'll probably be in there because me and you go way back like beans and rice. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just want to put something out there. A little of my heart and soul out there, and just share some of the things I've been through. And some of my experiences, some of the great people that I've met too, because I've met some amazing people. I'm gonna tell you, I'll never forget my first combat experience. I'm in Iraq. I'm leading a small team, and we're in Iraq. We're getting this first ever firefight, right? First ever. Now, everybody talks about, oh, I'm a gangster, shooting, killing, all that, right?
Right.
I tell you like this: when them first bullets started grazing around my head, I was about to be the carrot. And I never forget that. I still remember the soldier next to me. I remember scratching down by a tire and asking myself like, yo, what am I got myself into? Like, this is nuts. Like, and I remember looking at the soldier, he was terrified. Everybody was terrified. And I was like, you know what? Well, I can't be the one that freezes right now. They're looking for me for leadership. They're looking for me. So I said, if I die right now, I'm going to die. So I jump up with my weapon, Mark. I jump up with my weapon, and I ain't going to lie to you, I have my eyes closed. Scared as I don't know what, right? Scared as I don't know what. Jump over my weapon, and I'm hearing rounds, but nothing hit me. So I open my eyes. And I looked at the enemy, and these jokers were running and shooting backwards at me. So basically, they weren't even looking at me either.
Wow. And
that was like a turning point for me in my life when it comes to combat. Like, I was like, you know what? What are you afraid of? They're afraid too. You know what I'm saying? So I grabbed my squad and we chased them down, and whatever happens, happens. But that was a turning point for me in my combat. And then I did 3 more tours. And, picking up, I mean, not to be too graphic, but picking up my battle buddies or picking up soldiers' body parts and put them in trash bags, that was tough, man.
Yeah.
It's really hard experience, man. And then what the hardest experience is, and this goes back to leadership and motivation, is when we had to do all the stuff we do. Go do a funeral for a battle buddy who died in Iraq, and then get right back in our truck and go right back outside and do it again. And that was that's a very tough. I don't wish that on nobody. All these young soldiers tell me, I can't wait to go to combat. I can't wait to go to war. I tell them, you don't want that.
Yeah.
War will change you for the rest of your life. I still see things in my sleep that I can't get away with.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't need to go too crazy. That'll be one of my stories in my book. But yeah, man, I just want to write a book, put a little motivation out there, and really just share some of my stories and my experiences that I've been privileged. I'm not going to say that I had to do,
right,
because like I said before, I'm going to say I get to do this. I don't have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you'll get a first copy of my book signed and ready. You already
signed.
know.
I need that signed, man. I might need 2 because I might want to frame that one and then have one to read. But
you got, man. You already know, man. Anything you need from me, you got it. And I'm gonna say, like, what I love what you're doing. I love everything you've ever done, Mark. You've exceeded, man. And I always think God puts us in mysterious places and does mysterious things, and He's doing right with you. And I love how you say, I might not have been on my fitness, but I'm on everything else. And the funny thing about fitness, it's not all about your body. Your mind controls so much of what you do.
Absolutely, man. Look, man, I tell you what, we need you on Chalk Talk for sure. Like this needs to be we could have a whole couple series, L. And I told my guy right now, Big L, I said, man, you gonna feel his energy. Watch, like you just gonna feel his energy. You got me. I'm in tears right now. Like I'm literally got some tears coming out my eyes, man, just because, just the passion, the stories, everything, man. That I feel it, and I think if we can do that for people, like you said, motivation is temporary. But you need it every day. Like motivational speakers, they'll tell you they should. I mean, David Goggins themselves, he's like F motivation. He's like, that's temporary. But just somebody new that needs motivation every single day. And that's part of the reason why we do this. And, I'm just trying to inspire people. I still have things I'm working on. I got to get better at. But like you said, life, if we can start changing, like the bean, changing everyone else around us. And there's so much things going on right now. And so, divisiveness. And I just want us to be, better to people, so.
I agree, man. And it's not like, I think that analogy is great with the coffee bean. Maybe, hey, I'll tell you right now, anybody, if you hear me, that coffee bean, right? You go on Amazon, I think it's like $7. I think the book is like $7, $7, $8, and it's probably like 30.
It's called The Coffee Bean. That's the name of the book.
It's called The Coffee Bean on Amazon. Like
okay.
$7, $8. What I like to do is I like to buy this book and just give it to people. Like sometimes I'll just go on, or like my man Steph Johnny. It's crazy, man. When we were younger, me and Luke were super close. Me and Evie super close. Me and Steph, we were close too. But man, we talk all the time. I'm very proud of that guy.
Yeah.
Man. But what I was thinking about also? I was looking at all the good stuff that people from I'm not going to say my class, but just probably our decade, right, of John Jay High School, and just looking at what Fears is doing, what Bear Clothing's doing, what Akram's doing.
Yes.
This goes on and on. If I forgot somebody, I apologize. This is what you're doing. But you know what's crazy? And I always think back. Someone asked me, why are these people so successful? And I was thinking about it. And I say, you know why? Because of the pride. I remember coming up, when we were young, we all wanted to be a Mustang. Like, that's all we wanted to do. We wanted to be the future. We wanted, what I'm saying? Like the pride with Cookie, and everybody, Mo.
Rest in peace,
all
Cook.
the people, Gerald McClaskey. There's so many people. But you know why we were successful and they're still taking over the world? It's because of what we were taught. We had pride, and I think that's what we got to teach these young kids. It's funny because I tell a story to my kids. I'm going to give you one more story now. I won't take too much time, but I tell my kids, the soldiers every day, what don't make no sense to me. They come to work. They go to, when they're off duty or whatever, they go to the mall, the beach, or wherever. They look like $1 million, man. They got them Yeezys on, matching socks. They look amazing, right? Just amazing.
Yeah.
But when they come to work, listen to this. When they come to work, they look like a nickel.
Yeah.
So this is what I ask. You go to the beach, you go to the mall, you go wherever to do what? And they're like, well, we buy stuff, we spend money. Right. Okay. And you look amazing, right? They're like, well, yeah. Okay, great. You come to work to do what? Make money. And you look like a nickel. Please answer me what that is. And they look at me like, yo, I never thought of it that way. I said, well, think about this. If you come to work looking amazing, you can even look double amazing when you're not at work because you make more money. You'll be where you want, right? You get what you want, but you can't get it. And then I always tell people, you don't go, none of us, and Eric Thomas said it's the best. Nobody goes to the mall, to Burger King, anywhere and say, let me get the second best food you have. Right? Nobody says, hey, let me get last year's car that's broken. Let me have the worst bed mattress you have. Nobody says that. So
right.
why do we act like that? Right? If nobody says no. If I ask any soldier, I don't care the best soldier, the worst soldier. I rank them. I say, hey, what rank are you? They'll all say number one, right? All of them. Not one of them will say number two. Not one.
Yeah.
So I said, well, how come you don't give me a number one effort? You think you're number one, but you're not giving me number one effort. And they all look at me like a light bulb came on in their head.
And I think that was instilled in you, man. Like you mentioned yourself in basketball. I never seen. Probably Ben Uzo and some like Tony and people like that I've seen work as hard as something like basketball their whole life. Like you wanted that bad, man. You grind, you want it, and like you said, you just weren't talented. Same thing with me. I loved football. I thought I was okay, but 6 dislocated kneecaps later, all that stuff. That's not my story no more. That wasn't. And you have to be able to adapt to, like you said, everything you go through happens for a reason. So, man, Mr. No Slack, man, I promise you we got to do this longer and extended, and I really need you back, man. So we're going to have to work something out for Chalk Talk because the people need to hear more of this. Man, I'm telling you, had me just feeling all kind of hype today now. So I think I'm going to go to the gym now. I might go dunk on Elliott. He's like 6'7", but I think I can get him right now after this.
Hey,
so.
And then I need you to get that book, The Coffee Bean. And if you don't read it, you share it.
No, I'm going to read it. I'm going to order that right now. You got my word. And as soon as I get it, I'm gonna post it. So I'm gonna take a picture of it and send it to you, so you know I got it. So,
Hey,
is
I'm
is
gonna
is
tell
it
you,
on
hey,
Audible? Because I have Audible. You know, I like Audible.
I think so, man. You know what? You know me, I'm old school, man. I can't. Hey, and right now I'm bumping that new Drake anyway. I can't get nothing else in my beats but that new Drake. You know,
I,
because he
I
said
just
loyalty to him is everything. I'm
hey,
telling you.
there was I started listening to it on the way over here actually, and it's a little soft, but you know, like there are some very key points that I was relating to. Like there's one song that's
Yep.
like, it's like fair trade. I'm losing friends, but I'm
Yep.
gaining. What do you say? I'm losing friends, but I'm gaining peace or something like
Momentum or
that.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. He's like, I think that's a fair trade. I'm like, man, that's actually something that I'm going through right now personally. So, but
Yeah,
man,
and that's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna let you go. I know I took too much time. Hey,
nah,
and
heck no,
anytime
you
you
didn't
need me
take too
on,
much time. This was perfect, man. But yeah, we definitely got to get you on Talk Talk, because Talk Talk, obviously we do a longer version of a show, and if we
got
got
it.
to have you on 2-3 times, because I just feel like, look, we about to go viral with this one. We about to go viral with this one because you the man. So,
No, man.
um,
I'm just appreciative of everything, man. I thank you for looking out for me, and you already know, man. I die for you and your family, no doubt. You know, I've did this thing for 20 years. But I'm gonna tell you what. When I retire, which is coming soon, uh, I'm looking at opening up, and I know I'm gonna see if I can get you involved. I'm trying to open up a leadership and fitness facility in
mm,
San Antonio. Already looking at some real estate to put it in. I got the equipment. But we definitely got to open up a little leadership and not just focus on fitness, but focus on that mental and that leadership aspect and changing the world.
absolutely, man. I need that because you know what I'm trying to do with what I did with that at Jordan Middle School for the young men. I'm trying to open that up to the city, so we definitely got to link up and talk about that. My boy
Absolutely.
LaRon, the penny stock guru, they doing things with that also, teaching financial literacy to youth. So man, I just think there's a lot of positive people that we are connected with, and we can definitely make a change in our society. So no slack, man. I appreciate your time. What time is it in Hawaii right now?
Oh man, it's 10:50, and what's awesome is I got up at 4 o'clock this morning and I went to work out with some ROTC cadets at the University of Hawaii who are going to be future officers one day, and I
Nice.
got to teach them a little bit, ran up and down some hills with them, and then, you know what, Mark, they thought they could get me. But you know what? They're not built like me. I try to
No,
tell them, man, you might be faster than me, stronger than me, richer than me, better looking than me, but you ain't gonna outwork me.
you ain't going to work me. No slack himself.
No slack, baby.
All right, my man. Well, we'll talk, man. I'm so excited to share this one. This is gonna be such fire. So, I love you, man. Stay safe out
Hey,
there.
too, brother.
Appreciate everything you're doing, and we'll definitely be in contact.
All right, brother. Hey, thanks again, and no slack.
No slack. All right, my
All
man.
right.
Later. Wow, man. Brandon Elam. He got his title. I don't want to mess up his title. He texted me his title. I don't want to mess this up. Master Sergeant Brandon Elam, Ops SGM 524th 25 ID. For those of y'all that know what that means, I don't, but I just want to thank him. Great content, man. Great stories, great leadership. You can just feel his passion. He had me in tears. I just really appreciate that guy, Mr. No Slack himself, Brandon Elam. Again, this has been Everyday People. Shout out to all our servicemen and women out there. Thank you for doing what y'all do. And we'll see y'all next episode.